you're already living with artificial intelligence. Really, whether you even realize it or not. It's like this invisible thread woven right into the fabric of your daily routine. The moment you pick up your phone, chances are AI is already doing something in the background.
That's exactly right. And our mission today is really to pull back that curtain a bit. We want to show you precisely where and how AI is transforming your everyday life. And we've dug into some comprehensive sources looking at, well, over 20 specific applications, but also broader analyses of AI's impact on society and industry.
So what can you expect from this deep dive? Well, we're going to try and categorize AI's presence, maybe make it a bit clearer. Then we'll dive into some really fascinating real-world applications, some you might not even have thought about. And after that, unpack the big picture stuff, implications, ethical considerations. That's all crucial. This whole deep dive is really designed to make you instantly more informed about this tech that's, well, shaping everything.
Okay, let's unpack this first. What exactly is artificial intelligence? The term we hear thrown around all the time, right?
Yeah.
But when we talk about it being in our daily lives, what are we actually referring to?
Right. So at its core, AI is basically the simulation of human intelligence in computer systems. These systems are designed to learn, to think, to perceive their environment, and make decisions kind of like people do. Now, when we look at how AI is typically used day to day, we can generally break it down into two main categories. They're quite distinct.
Two categories.
Okay.
Okay. Does the line ever blur between them? Or maybe does one have sort of trickier implications than the other? That's a great point. And yeah, the lines definitely can blur sometimes. But maybe for clarity, let's keep them separate for now. The first is what we often call software or methodology-based AI. These are the AI capabilities you usually download or just access digitally. They often don't need any extra physical devices. Think about, your everyday voice assistants, Siri, Google Home, Alexa. They're perfect examples.
Yeah.
Or image recognition for unlocking your phone with your face. Even the machine learning systems banks use to spot potential fraud, that's all AI software working away, mostly unseen.
Ah, okay. So it's the kind of invisible brain powering the apps and features we use constantly. What about the other side, the more tangible AI?
Right. The second category is embodied AI. This is really the hardware side. It involves designing specific devices that are built with AI capabilities. The AI is literally embodied in a physical form. So this is where you get things like drones, self-driving vehicles, those robots you see on assembly lines. And it also stretches into the Internet of Things. Smart home devices designed to use AI to work better.
Got it. So whether it's software running on my phone or a physical robot doing a task, the basic idea is these AI systems sense what's around them, figure out what to do with that information, solve problems, and then act to help us out with tasks, hopefully making life a bit easier, more efficient. It's all about smoothing things out for us, making things more intuitive.
Yeah, it's genuinely fascinating when you stop and think about how seamless so many digital interactions feel now. It often just feels like magic, doesn't it? But what's actually driving that?
It absolutely can feel like magic. And AI, well, that's precisely the engine making it also seamless. So take voice assistants, for example. Siri, Google Home, Alexa, they use voice user interfaces, VUI basically, to understand what you're saying. They tap into these huge cloud databases, processing just thousands of lines of data every second to bring you tailored search results almost instantly. And what's really interesting now is how quickly they're moving into other areas, like healthcare. They're starting to be used to potentially identify diseases just from vocal biomarkers, or even help with initial patient triage and telehealth. That's incredible. So from just asking it to play a song to potentially helping diagnose something serious.
Wow. And it's not just our voices, right? The way we type on our phones has gotten incredibly smart, too.
Precisely. Smart input keyboards on your phone, another great example of everyday AI. The AI in those apps gives you really good autocorrection. It detects languages automatically and offers that predictive typing that finishes your sentences. They use pretty sophisticated machine learning algorithms, like something called a random forest model, which essentially builds a whole bunch of decision trees to make really accurate predictions about what you're trying to type, understands context. These systems now support, I think, over 300 languages and dialects, and some are even adding real-time translation features.
And, okay, when you finally sit back to relax, AI is still busy working behind the scenes, keeping you entertained. Definitely. Entertainment streaming apps, Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, you name it. They are prime examples. They use machine learning algorithms heavily. They analyze all your interaction data, what you watch, what you listen to, what you skip, and then they recommend custom content just for you. But it's not just recommendations. AI also works to ensure you get uninterrupted streaming. It automatically manages server loads and bandwidth based on how popular a show or movie is, trying to prevent that annoying buffering.
It really is remarkable how they seem to know what we want, sometimes even before we do. And that kind of hyper-personalization, that extends right into our social media feeds too, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they use social media algorithms. AI personalizes your feed, suggests people you might know, shows you targeted ads,
Yes, yeah.
all based on your likes, shares, comments, your behavior, basically. And those same machine learning models are also working constantly to filter out inappropriate or harmful content, trying to keep the platform safer.
And beyond just sorting what we see online, AI can actually help us understand the physical world visually.
Yes, exactly. Think about image recognition tools like Google Lens. It can recognize objects, landmarks, even text-in images with pretty impressive accuracy now. It uses something called optical character recognition, OCR technology. So you can point your camera at a sign in a foreign language, and boom, it translates it in real time. Or you can snap a picture of a business card, and it pulls out the text to save as a contact. It's incredibly practical.
And now it's not just recognizing images, AI is actually stepping into pure creation. It's truly mind-blowing what's happened with AI image generators. Can you maybe walk us through how something like DALL-E actually works its magic?
Yeah, it's a field moving incredibly fast, and the magic is, well, it's quite complex under the hood. AI image generators, like OpenAI's DALL-E, they're powered by what are called generative pre-trained transformers, or GPTs. You can think of them as these extremely sophisticated models that have been pre-trained on just massive amounts of existing images and text data. So this training lets them generate completely new, unique visual content just from a written description, a prompt. They essentially learn to understand the relationship between words and images. For instance, you could type in an astronaut riding on a horse on the moon, like the famous example, and the model generates an image that actually matches that weird specific description. These tools have huge potential applications in creative fields, design, marketing, basically turning text into visuals almost instantly.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit.
Right.
Beyond all this personal convenience and entertainment, AI is also fundamentally changing how we navigate the physical world and how systems keep us safe and efficient.
Absolutely. It's transforming our physical experiences just as much as our digital ones. Consider taxi booking apps like Uber or Lyft. AI is constantly analyzing historical ride data to predict demand patterns. Where will people need rides and when? This helps allocate drivers much more efficiently, meaning quicker response times for you. Plus, it optimizes the routes by analyzing real-time traffic, road closures, accidents,
Yeah.
minimizing your travel time.
So if AI is making booking a ride seamless, it's also revolutionizing how we actually find our way, right? Tell us about navigation.
Oh, absolutely. Navigation and travel apps, think Google Maps, Waze, they rely heavily on machine learning algorithms. These algorithms cross-check just an almost unimaginable amount of geographical data. We're talking yottabytes,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, it's basically more data than the entire internet holds, apparently, and it's updated every single second. And there's research, like some from MIT, developing models to tag road features like lane markings or traffic signs in digital maps in real time. What's more, specific imaging algorithms, convolutional neural networks and graph neural networks, they essentially see and process visual map data very quickly. This simplifies making regular route updates. There are even predictive models that can figure out routes that might be hidden by, say, overgrown trees or something.
That level of detail is just astounding, especially updating constantly. And AI is also stepping up to enhance our safety in some really tangible ways.
Yes, definitely. Fall detection and car crash detection are great examples of AI being proactive about safety. Wearable devices, like the Apple Watch, use AI algorithms combined with sensors like accelerometers and gyroscopes. They analyze your movement patterns, and if they detect a hard fall, they can automatically trigger an alert to emergency contacts or services. Similarly, in cars, you have advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS. Think Tesla's autopilot AI, for example. They use a whole suite of sensors and cameras to constantly monitor the surroundings, detect potential crashes, and then enable really quick responses, like deploying airbags instantly or automatically notifying emergency services.
And the ultimate extension of that, obviously, is self-driving vehicles. They seem less like science fiction every day.
They really are becoming more common, and the technology is incredible. Self-driving vehicles typically use something called deep reinforcement learning, or DRL. This essentially teaches the vehicle how to operate independently through trial and error in simulations and the real world. Predictive AI models allow the car to plan paths around obstacles, both static ones like parked cars and dynamic ones like other moving vehicles or pedestrians. They can even account for unexpected things like a nearby car suddenly swerving. And technology called SLAM simultaneous localization and mapping uses sensors to give the car constant, real-time orientation about exactly where it is in relation to everything around it. That's key for navigating safely.
So it's not just about getting us from A to B anymore. AI is also kind of like a constant watchman, isn't it? Whether for our personal safety or broader security.
Exactly. Look at security and surveillance. AI is really helping to free up human resources there. Instead of someone having to stare at dozens of CCTV screens for hours, which is incredibly taxing and prone to error, AI video monitoring software can take over that constant monitoring. It's trained to pick up on irregular behavior, anomalies, things that a human might miss, especially over long stretches. An extension of this, though more controversial, is AI-based facial recognition being used in high-risk public areas, like airports or government buildings. Of course, there are ongoing efforts, particularly in liberal democracies, to ensure robust data protection and minimize the risks to privacy associated with that.
And AI has even managed to clean up one of our oldest digital headaches, something that used to flood our inboxes.
That's right, email filtering. Yeah. Remember how bad spam used to be? AI-driven systems are now incredibly effective at identifying and filtering out spam emails. They also help categorize your emails automatically, putting things into primary social promotions, for instance. And they enhance composition, too, with predictive typing suggestions and better autocorrect. It really does streamline digital communication and save a lot of time.
And finally, something pretty much everyone checks daily: the weather. We kind of expect it to be pinpoint accurate now.
And AI is absolutely fundamental to achieving that modern accuracy in weather prediction. It powers these incredibly complex meteorological models. They analyze just vast amounts of historical weather data alongside real-time inputs, temperature, humidity, wind patterns, atmospheric pressure, satellite imagery, all of it. This allows for much more accurate and precise forecasts than ever before. And mobile apps like Dark Sky was famous for, or AccuWeather, they now offer these hyper-localized forecasts, sometimes with minute-by-minute precipitation updates. That's all driven by sophisticated AI.
So, taking all this in, what does it really mean for the bigger picture? Clearly, AI isn't just about slick apps or personal convenience anymore. It's profoundly reshaping entire sectors of our economy and society.
Oh, it's truly transformative, and the scale is just immense. Look at healthcare. AI-assisted diagnostics, for instance, can achieve up to 94% accuracy in detecting conditions like breast cancer from medical images. In some studies, that actually outperforms experienced human radiologists. That's not just a small improvement, it's a monumental shift. Then you have personalized medicine, where AI helps tailor treatment plans based on the individual's genetic profile. That's showing around a 30% improved efficacy in some cases. Telemedicine access has exploded, seeing like a 150% increase, partly enabled by AI tools, and things like natural language processing, NLP, are streamlining administrative tasks for doctors and nurses, reducing their workload by maybe 30%. And beyond all that, AI is significantly speeding up the process of drug discovery. That could mean new treatments arriving much, much faster.
That impact on health and efficiency in medicine is just staggering. How does it compare in the world of finance?
Finance and banking are also heavily reliant on AI now. It's become absolutely crucial. Think about fraud detection. AI systems can analyze millions of transactions in real time to spot suspicious patterns far faster and more accurately than humans ever could. It's used for credit risk evaluation, deciding who gets loans based on complex data analysis. And it automates complex trading processes, finding subtle patterns in market data. Customer service is also changing, with AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants handling many routine queries. And robo-advisors are offering personalized investment advice, often at a lower cost than traditional advisors.
And for students, for educators, are we seeing similar big shifts happening in learning?
Yes, education is definitely being reshaped. AI-driven platforms are integrating adaptive learning technologies. These systems can provide students with real-time feedback as they learn, and they can create personalized learning plans based on how that individual student is progressing, what they're struggling with. So it makes the educational journey potentially much more tailored to each learner's needs. And on the other side, AI is automating administrative burdens for teachers, things like grading multiple choice tests or tracking attendance, freeing up more of their time to actually teach and interact with students.
How does this translate more broadly across different industries, just in terms of general business operations?
In business operations, the impact is huge. AI is automating countless routine tasks, data entry, scheduling, basic customer support. This leads to really significant efficiency gains and lower operational costs. Some companies report cost reductions up to 30%. AI-driven analytics provide businesses with real-time insights from their data, which leads to better forecasting, smarter decision-making, and it dramatically improves the customer experience through personalization. We know consumers are about 80% more likely to buy from a brand that offers personalized experiences. AI also optimizes things like inventory management and delivery logistics, really streamlining the whole process from supply chain to the customer's door.
And just to tie it back to something we touched on earlier, the Internet of Things, all those connected devices, AI seems like the key to making them actually smart, right?
That's a perfect way to put it. AI is what unlocks the real potential of all the data that IoT devices collect through their sensors. It allows smart home appliances, for example, not just to be connected, but to actually learn from usage data. They can then respond better to human behavior and preferences, often with minimal direct input from us. It makes our homes genuinely more intelligent and responsive.
Okay, but as AI becomes so deeply integrated, so ubiquitous, it feels vital that we talk about the challenges, the responsibilities that come with it. It's clearly not all just about convenience and efficiency. There are some pretty significant implications we really need to grapple with.
Absolutely. And these are critical conversations we need to be having. One major area of concern is algorithmic bias. AI systems learn from data, and if that data reflects existing societal prejudices, which it often does, the AI can learn and even amplify those biases. This can lead to discriminatory outcomes, especially in sensitive areas like facial recognition systems showing bias against certain demographic groups, or even in hiring algorithms favoring certain candidates unfairly. This makes careful design, diverse data sets, and continuous monitoring absolutely essential.
And with AI needing so much data to learn, privacy becomes this huge looming issue for a lot of people.
Indeed. AI's fundamental reliance on vast data sets raises significant data privacy concerns. How is our personal data being collected, used, stored, protected? This really necessitates strong data protection laws and very careful ethical handling of information by companies. Then there's the whole challenge of accountability. Especially as AI becomes more autonomous, think about self-driving cars again. If an autonomous car causes an accident, who is responsible? The owner, the manufacturer, the software developer. We need really clear decision-making processes built into the AI and well-defined legal and ethical frameworks for accountability.
And something that doesn't get talked about as much, maybe the environmental cost of all this computation.
That's a really important and growing concern. Training these massive AI models, especially the very large language models and image generators, it requires huge amounts of computational power, which in turn consumes massive amounts of energy. This contributes significantly to carbon emissions and the overall environmental footprint of the tech industry. We need more efficient models and greener energy sources for data centers. And of course, the big one, job market transformation. This is probably the most widely discussed impact. AI-driven automation is projected to affect, well, nearly a third of existing work tasks in the coming years. Manual, repetitive jobs are generally seen as being at higher risk. Now, while some projections suggest around 7 million jobs might be replaced over the next couple of decades, those same projections often indicate that about 7.2 million new roles could emerge, jobs that require working alongside AI or developing it. We're seeing increased demand already for roles like machine learning specialists, data scientists, AI ethics officers, but this clearly emphasizes an urgent need for massive efforts in upskilling and reskilling the workforce, helping people adapt to these changes.
So looking ahead, it's definitely a picture filled with both incredible potential and these really crucial responsibilities we have to manage. We know the global AI market is just surging, projected near $190 billion by 2025. What kinds of emerging tech are fueling that growth, and how is the research community specifically trying to tackle these critical issues like bias, transparency, and privacy that you just laid out?
Yeah, that market growth is staggering. A lot of it is driven by advancements like edge computing. This means processing data directly on the device itself, your phone, your car, rather than sending everything to the cloud. This allows for much faster real time AI capabilities and can also enhance privacy sometimes. And on the ethical front, there's a huge amount of research focused specifically on these challenges. Researchers are working hard to develop more transparent AI models so we can understand why an AI made a particular decision, often called explainable AI or XAI. They're developing better techniques for detecting and mitigating bias in the data sets used to train AI. And they're working on building more robust data privacy techniques like differential privacy or federated learning right into the design of AI systems from the very beginning.
So ultimately, it seems clear AI is only going to become more deeply woven into our daily lives. It'll keep driving innovation, boosting productivity, but as you said, making sure its benefits are shared fairly and that the negative consequences are managed. That really requires this ongoing collaborative effort. Companies, governments, researchers all working together, it's crucial.
Well, we've certainly journeyed through the many, many intricate ways AI is already embedded in your daily life, from those unseen algorithms quietly running your favorite apps, to the really transformative shifts happening in huge sectors like healthcare and finance.
Absolutely. And AI's influence is just constantly growing within R&D departments across almost every industry you can think of. I saw a statistic that over 65% of globally incorporated companies are planning significant investment in AI by the end of the next fiscal year. It really is becoming the backbone of technological progress in our world today. Okay, so now maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. If AI's ability to learn and adapt from data keeps accelerating at this pace, what completely new applications might emerge when AI becomes truly adept, not just at reacting, but at understanding and maybe even anticipating complex human needs and behaviors? And how might that fundamentally reshape our own perception of intelligence itself, and maybe our place within this rapidly evolving, increasingly AI-driven world? Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the fascinating world of AI in your day-to-day life.